Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock, and you're at the right place. This is Tilson Live. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and we are here to answer every single one of your questions about building a home on your land. My name's Eric Alarid, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, joined as I am each and every week by the absolute best customer experience on your lot expert in the entire interspace of webs, Dawn Dantzler.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
See, folks, part of my goal, I'm great. Part of my goal every week is to see how far off I can throw Dawn on the intro. We have a normal intro we kind of do, but every now and then I like to make sure that y'all know that we're actually live and this is not pre-recorded. So that's an easy way to do it, is just capturing Dawn's reaction to whatever ridiculous thing Eric says on the intro. But all that aside, it's not about me or about Dawn. It is about you, and you are here to learn about building a home on your land. So again, it is Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock. We're here to talk to you guys about all things building a home on your land. Obviously, we are employed by Tilson Homes. That's who, can we say they sponsor the show? I don't know if it's fair to say that. They pay us.
I mean, technically they pay us, so they sponsor the show. By
definition, they sponsor the show. So they might even reimburse you for the, Restream app. I don't know. So all that being said, folks, we are here to talk to you about anything you want to know about building a home on your land, whether that's design, whether that's questions about site selection, site preparation, culverts, construction drives, water wells, septic systems, financing, interest rates, when does it lock in, how long is the price good for, what happens if prices go up, what all the unknowns. We're here to talk about that kind of stuff. Okay, we want to talk to you about even warranty. That's something that doesn't come up a whole lot, but warranty is a really big deal. It's something to think about on, people talk about car warranties all the time. You will be in this house a whole lot longer than you will be in a car, most likely, unless you're my grandfather. He had a station wagon for like 32 years, but that's the exception, not the rule. But anyway, all that to say, jump in, tell us where you're watching from, tell us where you're building, what part of the process that you're in. Maybe this is something you're just considering, you stumbled upon here because, Dawn is so awesome at search engine optimization and targeting and social media. Or maybe you're actually coming because you want to learn some stuff. Maybe you already have trusted the process and you are well on your way to that independent lifestyle that you want so badly. You want out of that deed-restricted subdivision. You want away from the annoying neighbor whose kid comes home from college till 11 o'clock at night playing basketball. You're done with them telling them what kind of front door has to be, done with what day your trash can has to be off the street, all that. You're done. You know what you're going to miss about those places, though? I will tell you. Everything about what we do at Tilson.
The Facebook group?
The Facebook group and next door. No doubt about it. You will... If you might be able to hang on to those if you don't tell anybody you're leaving. But if you can do that, you'll be worth the... I actually have my mom read me. She lives in a Del Webb place, right? Which is for people that are... How should I say this? Advanced in years is the way the Bible puts it. So their next door is a treasure trove of one-liners and emergency situations. But all that to say, folks, truly jump in, tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process that you're in, and of course, what questions you have. Because Dawn, it's my favorite kind of episode. Why is that?
It is. It's Ask Us Anything About Building on Your Land.
That's not what you said. It says Ask Us Anything.
No. Ask us anything. Yes, that's the short title that I put in your invite. So I guess technically, guys, you could ask us about other things. Just our answers are way more reliable if you keep it to building a home on your land.
No doubt about it. We do have a pretty structured lane that we typically stay in, which is a good thing for you if you're trying to learn stuff. So we can't really help you with production subdivision building. Can't really help you with, replatting a whole new subdivision, what the amenities ought to be at Happy Acres, XYZ. Shout out to Do You Convert. I stole that from you. So, but what we can help you with in great depth and detail is if you are considering building a custom home on your land somewhere in Texas. We can help you in other parts of the country too, but advice-wise, not product or services-wise.
Mainly on how you can move to Texas.
Correct. That we can help you with. That we can absolutely help you with. Obviously, you're coming for the weather, which I will say, thankful. I got 9/10 of an inch of rain night before last. Anyway, it happened, and I stood out there full on Andy Dufresne, Shawshank Redemption style in the rain and let it pour on my face. It was great. I loved it. My wife looked at me.
There are also part of the states where it is out of triple digits.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think the high is like 98, 99 a lot of places, which sounds ridiculous that we're celebrating that, but that is a full 10 degrees lower than it was this time a week ago. So yeah.
Very nice.
Tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, part of the process you're in. And again, we are here to answer your questions. We've got some boilerplate items that we always have, some frequently asked questions, but we want to hear from you. What is on your mind? What's concerning you? What's interesting to you? What are you happy about? Dawn, is anyone joining us, or we just?
Well, let's say hey. We do. We've got Misty building the San Jacinto in Hood County. Construction road is being finished today. Electric meter rack is priced, waiting for install, and ready for the geo drilling to start.
Misty.
So Eric, I thought
that
all of this is amazing. And way to go, Misty. Like that's wonderful. But this is a good opportunity for people who may be new to joining us and they're a little shy, maybe not asking their questions. But there's some words in here. What is an electric meter wrap, and what is rack, and what is geo drilling, Eric?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you asked, Dawn. So electric meter rack. So obviously where Misty is, her particular co-op or electrical cooperative, which is who provides power to her neck of the woods, literally. They probably have requested, they may have given her some options, probably not. But the option she chose to go with, or the option that they gave her, is an electric meter rack. So it is, I know you're typically accustomed to seeing like either power poles that are coming across the property with transformers on them, or maybe a transformer in the ground, a big green box that's just kind of in the ground every, 6 or 8 home sites. What this particular company is requiring is a rack. So truly like a galvanized rack system. It's typically set in concrete. And on that, they're going to build their meter can. So the box that holds the meter. And we will likely be building our breaker box there, put the electrical service there. Or we could be putting our electrical service, the breaker box, on the house and be running electrical from that rack to there. I'm going to say it's probably Pernell's Electric Co-op. If I was a betting man, that's a pretty specific bet. But that is Nostradamus level prediction, just so we're all clear. But anyway, that's what is going on there. Geo drilling. So we do a geotechnical investigation on every single home site before we design the foundation. It is in fact what we use to design the foundation. So no matter where we're building, right after our site evaluation, we have pins in the ground, either stakes if it's dirt, or rebar if it's not, or sometimes spray paint because we can't drive anything in there. They will go inside there and make sure they do a geotechnical investigation, an independent engineer, and then they use that data and then the design of the house itself to design the actual foundation, the depth of the beams, width of the beams, cable spacing, all that kind of good stuff. So good on you, Misty. Somebody's been paying attention in class.
Yes, that's awesome. All right, we've got Christine watching from Tyler, building a custom Fayetteville on Lake Fork. The slab was poured on Friday. Never thought concrete mixers in the moonlight could look so good.
That's true. God, that's a country western song waiting to happen right there.
I know. It is a beautiful site.
That works.
We've got Chris Archer watching from Airbnb in Fort Worth, closing on the house at Possum Kingdom next week. Big shout out to Darla and Cal, who made this experience a real pleasure.
Beautiful. Thanks, Chris. Man, I appreciate that.
We got Teresa, who will be building in Kingsland, Texas at Big Creek Ranch.
Lovely.
Awesome. We've got Donna. Our Angelina is finally underway in Marble Falls. We're so excited. And the
congratulations, Donna. It's been a long time coming, so well done. This is great.
Let's see. We've got Casco asking if we need another framing crew. Yeah, just send us a message with your contact information and which areas you build in, and we'll pass it along to our construction team so they can go ahead and give you a call and check you out.
Yeah, you can send us a private message through Facebook if you like.
Yep. We got Dylan eating lunch and learning about Build on Your Land Peak Tuesday. Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Oh, Dylan, you need a hobby.
Tim was apparently watching last week because he says, ask anything. Okay. How is it that Eric hasn't seen Step
That's a
Brothers?
Great question. Yeah, no, there's no excuse. Honestly, Tim, no excuse, because I've seen every other Will Ferrell movie there is, including the ones that are really not that great. But I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I haven't seen it. And I still haven't seen it. I had a whole week to catch up and I didn't make it happen. So no excuse. I offer you no excuse, sir.
That's all right. We got Christopher looking to build in Lee County in the next year or two, currently in Houston, but looking forward to getting out of the city.
I can't imagine why, Christopher. I can't imagine.
I know.
Why? I'd be curious to know, Chris, if you have any relatives that built it, because I sold some houses to some folks last name Jan, Jahn, a couple brothers and different areas of the state. But now this would have been a long time ago. Like I had hair, I had a part and everything. It was crazy. It's weird. Or at least I thought it was a part. It's probably a comb over, but tomato.
Hey, you tell yourself what you got to tell yourself. It's fine. Yeah, Misty sharing that she had the option of a pole or a rack and chose the rack so that there'd be nothing mounted on the house.
Perfect. Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, she didn't want to have a big silver green box mounted on the side of the home. And so they opted for a pole. So thank you, Misty. Thanks for clarifying for us.
Yeah. We got Teresa asking, what is the time to build in Burnet County?
Our goals right now are 225 days of construction. And we've got some that are hitting under that. We've got some that are coming in at 150 to 180. I don't think one in Burnet County has done that yet, but across the state, we're seeing times come way down, and actually, 160 to 180 to 200, 210 days on the regular now. It's not an anomaly. It's the norm.
That's awesome. All right. We've got Wendy, who is nearing completion in Republic Grand Ranch, so potentially next month. That's awesome.
She wants.
Yeah, I've been seeing your pictures on Instagram. It's looking amazing.
She wants another 2 cold fronts before she has to move. I don't blame her. I'm with her on that.
All right, we've got Kirsten, newbie here, just starting to look. We would build on our land in Angelina County.
Very cool. Yeah, so Lufkin, very, very popular area, growing area. We've been building out there for a long time. I actually got kinfolk in Lufkin. I guess out there they're not called relatives. They're called kinfolk. It's very
kinfolk.
Yep. Great smelling paper mill out there. Very helpful. But yeah, good spot.
She's also asking, what is the cheapest build y'all have done over the last 2 years?
Well, we don't do anything cheap, to be honest with you, Kristen. But the least expensive home that we have is one called the San Antonio, as far as 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just conventional home. And then, I guess the casita technically would cost less than that, although I'm not sure it would not accommodate most families by today's standards. What's hilarious is that 100 years ago, it accommodated all families, like 800, 900 square feet. That's kind of what you were good to go. But these days, the San Antonio, which is right about 1,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and the pricing is actually on the website. If you want to go to the website and check out pricing you actually price by the county, so you can click your county, click Angelina County and the San Antonio, and it'll spit you back the price range. And that range is what, Dawn? Why is there a range? Why can't you decide on a price? Just pick a price.
Because we're trying to give you guys the sense of what the difference is. So the range that you're going to see on that is most of our homes have multiple exterior options, what we call elevations. So the range that you see there is the difference between those 3 or 4 elevations that we have. So that's the range there. So whether it's solid brick or board and batten, or if it's got some stone on it, that's what you're seeing in the range.
Fair enough.
And then we've got Teresa asking, does Tilson allow you to provide your own bathroom mirrors and light fixtures? So
bathroom mirrors, yes, for sure we can do that. Light fixtures gets a little bit dicier. We need to know a little bit. We need more information on that. And there's reasons why, right? So the electricians are on the hook. They're licensed by the state of Texas. They have to carry insurance to maintain that license. A lot of those situations, their insurance will not let them just install open box items, we have found. So, and even then, I'm gonna buy them on Amazon, they'll be great. We never know exactly what we're getting when you order it from broadly speaking. So obviously we work directly with wholesalers. I would invite you to let us send us what you're interested in and let us see if we can find a solution, because we'll be on the hook for the warranty for it. We have leverage with the electrician to get them back out there to go fix it. The other thing is, we want to get the pricing correct if there's any kind of off the wall, like a foyer is a great example. Okay, so let's say in a foyer, normally it's maybe some kind of a hanging fixture. Well, if you show up with like a 80-pound or 180-pound wagon wheel that's got candelabras on it, we want to be sure that structurally we're ready to go for that. And electrician may open that box and be like, I'm not getting paid to put this here. So we need a lot more information on the light fixtures themselves. We have a massive selection of light fixtures, and probably what we have at the ready on our price book, I think we can get access to more. if we really need to.
Yeah.
We're trying not to overwhelm people, but yeah, bathroom mirrors, no problem. Light fixtures, it's going to be a yes and no. So no open box
It's
stuff,
gonna
no stuff you
depend.
picked up at the garage sale or the farmer's market, or you pulled out of Meemaw's house. No offense to Meemaw, she had great taste, but like they're not going to take chances with old fixtures, old hardware.
Right. That makes sense. Karen is asking if we build in Iola.
Do we build in Iola? Absolutely. Grimes County is the heart of Tilson country. There's an office in Bryan right down the road from you. Our office just south of you in Huntsville. So we'd be glad to see either way. But yes, we build quite a bit in Grimes County.
All
Go
right.
Bulldogs.
We've got Lauren saying she is near completion in Brenham on our Canyon C.
Awesome, Lauren. Thanks for sharing. Shoot us some pictures.
Nikki is also asking about light fixtures, asking if we can have a light fixture setup for a chandelier to be installed.
We can, yeah. So we can add extra blocking. So get us the specifications on it, Nikki. I want to know the weight. I want to know, is it going to be a 3-way switch or how is it on dimmers? That's information that we need to know, and actually the dimensions of the fixture itself too. So and that's a great question. Could you theoretically change the fixtures out afterwards, Dawn? Is that possible? Have we ever had anyone do that we featured on a live?
Absolutely. Yeah, when we have people who have really specific taste, a lot of time what they'll do is they'll either, if it's in like a bedroom, they might do the blocking, and then in the other places in the house, we just install the, level 1 fixture and you switch it out afterwards.
Yeah, now that you do that at your own risk, okay? Turn the power off. The breaker, not the switch. Outside, turn the breaker off.
Breaker, yes.
Test it. Like lick your finger and no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Ways to test it. If you don't know how to test it, you don't need to be doing it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We've got Sherilyn saying, we intend to build a separate metal building garage shop. If we want Tilson to build it, would that require both foundations to be poured at the same time? Or could the shop be constructed after the home is complete?
The shop can be constructed after the home is complete if we're not doing it. So metal building, we're not going to do. But if you have either a kit that you're getting and have hired an erector that can put it up for you, or have just a metal building company that's going to do a turnkey deal, we can do the foundation for it, or they can do the foundation for it. We could, we just price it out, whichever one's. Actually, Tilson didn't do the foundation for my metal building. I was able to get it done turnkey with the guy that was doing it because he really wanted work at the time. It was not in the last 3 years. So, but if they can be done at the same time if you want them to, but the shop also could be constructed after the home's complete. The shop, depending on where it is, could be constructed before the home, if depending on where it is. So we've done it all 3 of those ways.
All right, awesome. We've got Christian. Lisa McDaniel, Sumner, and Christian are excited to announce that our Magnolia and Bridlegate is still hung up in the replat phase, waiting for Bandera County to say the signed copy is good to go. Champing at the bit to build.
Yeah, and if I remember right, Christian, you're the one that's driving back and forth like 5 hours each way, autographing the Mylars for the Commissioner's Court because, Bandera County's.
They have to have a wet signature in person.
Super official, super official. God dang, hang in there, man. We're he said beep beep.
It's coming.
I will say, hold on, go back, throw it up there. Like, is there any? Are they giving you any like updates or questions or reasons why they wouldn't approve it? And because we'd be glad to help with any of that. I mean, I'm not saying we know anybody in Bandera County because we don't necessarily, but we can certainly be a resource to answer questions, or maybe we could even reach out to a title company or something out there, or maybe it truly is just as like, we'll let you know. So let us know.
We'll do it when we do it.
Yeah, we want to help.
All right. We get Amy. We are currently in the midst of our land search in Blanco or Burnet counties. Can you talk about the pros, cons of drilling a well or using a private water co-op?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be glad to. So, well, the easiest answer to that is going to be if there's no co-op water available, there's your option. You'll be drilling a well. So if you do have options, first check with, as you're looking for the land, let's get some deed restrictions. We'll take a look at them with you. Or if you're using a realtor, a buyer's agent, they can look at them with you. We'd be glad to review any. We are not an agency. We are not a real estate company. We don't offer real estate advice, but we can certainly look at deed restrictions. We're qualified to do that. We can give you our opinion. That's our favorite subject.
We have lots of opinions.
Our favorite subject.
Yeah.
And so with a water well, it's a one-time deal, right? You pay for the well, you pay for it to be drilled, you pay for the completion, you pay for the tank, and that's a number, but it's done forevermore. Like, it's your water.
Mhm.
There's maintenance on it, of course. Things wear out. That's what stuff does when it's outside. But if you take care of it, cover it, build some kind of cover around it, it'll last a very, very long time. The components will. And then you don't ever have a water bill. In either case, you're probably not going to have a MUD tax, a municipal utility district. So that's a good thing. In either case, whether you're doing a private water kind of cooperative thing or water well, that typically means you're on your own for the wastewater too. You're going to be doing septic, which the good news of that is there is no MUD tax. So your property taxes will be lower, and they're pretty low in those two counties anyway. So to me, I like the idea of having the water well. Something to, no one telling you when, like, even a water co-op could say, hey, we're in a drought, you're watering 3 days a week or whatever the number is, right? You don't have total control. I'm really not a control freak. You can ask Dawn. I'm really not. But when it comes to like food and water for my family, that's a spot where I will take a little more control if I have the option. But just know that there will be some, you need to, I would be involved with the water well basically just to learn how it works, because it's not going to break down when they're driving by the highway on Thursday at 2:00. It's not. It's going to break down at Christmas or 4th of July when you have 27 people over and something like that's when it's going to go down. And it is good to know, like, okay, here's the breaker for turn the water well off. This is what's leaking. I asked Dawn. I went through it just a couple weeks ago with one of my wells. I looked down and there was just beautiful patch of green,
there's water,
green grass going down to the pond. And I'm like, well, that's odd. It hadn't rained in 2 months. That ought not be. So turns out the completion part had settled and a little bitty tiny crack had formed, and I was dumping water for probably not more than 3 or 4 days, but it was happening. And when it is your own, you are the maintenance person. Like, there is no one to call. You can call a water well company, and if they're available, they'll come out. Naturally, ask them as you're shopping for water wells, what is the service? What's the warranty on it? And if I call for service on a Thursday afternoon, what are we looking at? And they will. I mean, they do what they can. They understand how vital water is. So most of the ones we've talked to, they understand the ramifications of not having water. But by and large, so I guess the cons of having a water well is it is your water well. Like, you are responsible for the components. And go ahead.
Well, the other thing that I was going to say, which sounds really weird to think about it right now, but if you do get a water well, also find out how to winterize it.
Yeah.
Because we have been getting a lot of freezes seasonally now, and you want to know how to protect that from freezing up.
Yep.
Because that's the other time that it's going to go out, when everybody else is also calling
exactly
the
right
company.
That's exactly right. So anyway, either way, we're good.
We got Kenneth. Howdy from Maypearl, Texas. It's been 10 months since we closed. My wife Linda and myself are still in love with our Whitney D. Everything is working great, especially the AC. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Teresa is asking, do you have the same design selections at each model home?
So we have the same selections in the design centers. And I think that's probably what you meant, Teresa. Obviously, every model is a little bit different. But yeah, we have the same selections at every design center.
What you see displayed may not be the same just because of space, but they'll have all the same samples like in the back. So if there's something that you think you saw somewhere that you're missing, you can ask for them to bring it out.
Great point. The one other caveat I put to that is with brick, as you travel to the different regions of the state, what is standard in, let's say, North Texas might be an option in the Gulf Coast, which may be standard in Central Texas, and that might be an option in North Texas. So in other words, brick is one of the weird things that is not standard statewide because they're manufactured in various areas of the state. So for instance, if it's manufactured in Elgin, Texas, it might be an upgrade up in Mineral Wells because you have to truck it up there from Elgin. And the reverse is also true. If they have a plant in Mineral Wells, Texas, which it's west of Fort Worth, if you want to have that brick in Houston, you're going to pay an upgrade price for that. So I hope that makes sense. So that might be the only perceived inconsistency that you may see is brick is standard and upgraded depending on where you are in the state, solely based on
depending on where you're building. So we don't get around the system by buying at a different office like that. That's where you're building. So, but you may see that they've got them displayed a little bit different.
If you have your own 18-wheeler with a flatbed, we can talk.
Yeah, if you want to go get it.
And a spider lift. You're going to need one of those too on the back.
All right. And Christian is sharing on his plotting that the longer we wait before we get a green light means more episode of Fixer Upper gets watched and we get more interior ideas.
I will call the county tomorrow. I will do that.
Orders, Eric. Oh, the change orders.
Fixer Upper.
Christopher is asking, is it possible to install connections for future expansion for solar and generators? So when I'm ready, I can build out the solar on my own and connect into already existing hookups.
All right. So two-part question. I'm going to do generators first because it's easier. So the answer is yes. I do encourage you to at least do some research on what brand of generator you're thinking about. So, for example, if you're doing Kohler, let's get Kohler components and put them on there for transfer switches or whatever. If you're going to do Generac, let's do Generac. But get them, and it's pretty easy once you have the house designed, and we know if you're going to be total electric or if you're going to have some gas components. You can send that information over to the generator in any generator company. And they can, and actually a lot of them have it online now where you can just go through and click like item by item, microwave, refrigerator, freezer, because you don't have to back everything up. It's not going to all be running at one time. Okay. You're not likely to be, particularly if you don't have power. Like I would not advise you be baking a Thanksgiving oven, turkey in the oven, have cobbler going in the other oven, have the dryer going, have the AC, like
plug in the crock pot.
Yeah. Don't dry your hair. Don't do that. Actually, I can do that because that's probably not taking a whole lot of power. I can do that solar, by the way. I can dry my hair
using one of our twist and fold fans.
Yeah, I have a vitamin D collector. It's built in. So, but truly, you can send that information to them, and they can tell you kind of what size generator you're going to need, and that will tell you what type of like automatic transfer switch. If you are planning on doing it like way down the road, I actually recommend an outside breaker panel. It's because we can do them inside or out, but in that situation, I recommend an outside one. It's way cheaper to get into it. They all have knockouts on the side and on the bottom, 2-inch, 2.5-inch, some cases 3-inch, to be able to knock those out and run your generator wiring up through there. Anyway, that's generator. Solar. Typically all we're going to do for solar, if you want to do that, is provide the conduit. So for example, we need to know obviously you're going to the panels will be to the south and maybe the southwest. So that side of the home is going to have the bulk of the panels, probably all the panels. So that is something to keep in mind, is that a place you don't mind looking up and looking at solar panels is what's facing south. That's where they need to face in our neck of the woods. And then based on that, where the battery is going to be. So you got to have a battery bank of some sort. And there's different types, Tesla and all kinds of ones that make them. And then based on where that's going to go, we would want to get conduit. I recommend nothing less than 2.5-inch to run through the attic and just kill it in the attic. Like don't punch a hole in the roof yet because you don't need it, but have the conduit there ready to go so that all the cabling can go there. Run it down that conduit into where your battery bank is going to ultimately be stored. So that's really the only thing you have to do for that. And there's actually some codes that require that in some municipalities because cities believe that solar is going to save them. It's not. Proper zoning will save them, but not solar. But different subject for a different day.
I told you we have lots of opinions, folks.
That's a fact, Jack. That ain't opinion. So anyway, that's how we handle those two situations. Hope that helps.
We got Michelle asking, I believe it was the Moore family on your family features who combined a couple of plans for their build. I have about 4 homes that I love a certain feature about. How will they make it easy for us to choose? So Michelle, I'm going to say you need to get an appointment with a consultant, and let's bring all 4 plans, as well as your, like, just depending upon what the features are that you like, but bring your must-have. And I would say prioritize those things. So what are the things that you absolutely have to have in your home? And then of the 4 homes that you like the features, how important is each one? But your consultant will just sit with you and look at the 4 plans. Hopefully they're somewhat similar to each other, and we're not talking about, a 1,200 square foot house and a 4,000 square foot house that you're trying to put the kitchen into, into putting into the little tiny home. Hopefully we've got enough space that they can work with you and figure it all out. We are very good at literally sometimes cutting, copy and paste. We'll make a copy of it, we'll cut it out, we'll paste it on, and just see how it works and come up with something that works for you. But you're going to want to meet with our team in person, so we can just sit down and actually put it all down on paper on the desk and work it all out for you.
I would also ask you to define for yourself and your significant other, whoever's in the purchasing decision with you, your definition of easy. Easy like stapling 2 pieces of paper together, or easy like marriage? So those are 2 very different thresholds of easy. But all that to say, it is a fun process, and Dawn's advice is fantastic. Prioritize what's important to you, and go from there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, and to the Moore's credit, they brought that design to us, and we used the couple of different home plans to arrive kind of at the ultimate design. But kudos to them, because that was pretty much their design.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then we've got Wendy. We're doing several areas of block and switch, and others where we chose level 1 and will replace. Fortunately, I have a handy husband. So yeah, that's a great solution to the lighting.
Oh yeah, we're a dangerous breed, the handy husbands. We can break anything.
We've got Preston asking if we have installed solar on any roofs.
We have not, but we have had customers do it, yes. But we don't have a solar provider.
All right.
Great question, Preston.
All right. And Christian's updating on plotting. The signed copy was going back to the county commissioner.
I'm sure he has a campaign fund.
Land office that we're ready to pay for it to go into record. That's a good point. Yeah. He probably does have a campaign.
That's an elected official, brother. Just saying. Host a barbecue. Bring friends.
There you go.
And you get your road taken care of in front too. It's win-win.
You do it on the land that you're getting replotted, so you're within the jurisdiction. Teresa's asking, what is the average cost of adding an oversized 3-car garage with a board and batten exterior?
Well, it depends on the plan quite a bit. So it could range anywhere from, I don't know what definition of oversized is, but I would put you somewhere in the, let's just for fun. Today is, what's today, Dawn? Do the date disclaimer.
Today is August 29th, 2023.
Okay, there you go. So, I don't know, minimum when I'm at 34 by like 12.
Carry the one.
Yeah. I got to take my shoes off real quick and start counting. I'd put it somewhere in the $80,000 to $120,000 range, depending on what your definition of oversized is, and depending on the plan. The plan matters a lot. So roof pitch and different things like that. I know you call that board and batten, but the good news is any of our sales consultants could give you the exact price for any plan by reaching out to them, so they can get you the exact price.
Okay. Nikki is asking, do deed checks need to be done before the house is built? And if so, what do they look for when doing the check?
Okay. So, Nikki, that's a great question. So what is a deed? A warranty deed is proof that someone owns a piece of property. And what Nikki's referring to is going to be a title commitment or opening title on a piece of property. And so the answer is yes. Whether you're building with us or anybody, if you're building with us, great news. We're going to do it for you because there's no construction loan. We're doing the funding for that. So we're going to open title and be sure that the title is in fact clear. In other words, every single transfer since really going back to the Spanish land grants are all buttoned up and tight. We don't do it. The title company does it. But if you're using another custom builder, you're going to be doing a construction loan. The construction lender is going to make sure that that's done. So in any case, you're going to have the deed, all the chain of title will be reconciled. Basically, it will be audited to make sure that every time it has changed hands since basically the dawn of the government. The theory or the law being that all land in the United States at one point belonged to the government, and then that's like ground zero, and then it starts from there. It's not true, but that's just how they define it. So, just tell it, real estate 101. So then they make sure that from that time all the way down through time, every time someone passed away or sold the land or gave the land or cut the land up, that it was conveyed properly. Or if it was not conveyed properly, they will detail for you, hey, we found a broken link in the chain of title here. This person had, they died, they had an ex-wife, and they had a current wife. They didn't have a will. They had 2 kids with the first wife and a kid with the second wife. We need reconciled whose interest.
Which of these 4 owned it?
Yeah, and how is that being reconciled? So that's what we look. Those are the things they look for when they open deed, they open title. I mean, that's one of the things they look for. So mainly is a clean chain of title down through time, and then they'll also look for easements that could encroach upon the buildable area. So any easements would be recorded. So like if ExxonMobil has a pipeline going through there, if the utility company has a utility easement, if there's if maybe a house you want to build across 2 lots and there's a flood easement or drainage easement or utility easement down the middle of it, we'll have to figure that out. They look at those, and then they also look at any. They actually open title on the people themselves. That's different from a credit check. Credit check's done with the mortgage company. They actually look for judgments and liens against the individuals. So, for example, if I had not been paying child support and there had been the Attorney General of the state of Texas had put a judgment against me for child support, I couldn't make a house happen. I can't convey title. I can't sell property. I can't buy property. That's the whole point, right? That goes for student loans, tax liens, so federal income tax. We don't have a state income tax, so Texas doesn't care about that. But it also goes for child support, those kind of things. Anything the Attorney General's office is involved in, or even lawsuits. So if Dawn and I are in a lawsuit against each other in Texas, we can't buy and sell land. We can't buy and sell real estate while that's going on. We have to settle that suit before we can move forward with any kind of land transaction. So that's a lot of stuff. I know it's a long answer, but those are all anything basically that can prevent you from closing on the property. That's what the lender wants to know.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't they also look for liens on the property itself?
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't mow your lawn 7 years ago and got a lien from the subdivision for non-compliance, you may have to settle that. It's like $175 or something. You'll pay that. If your dog bit your neighbor, or the person who used to own the property's dog bit the person who used to be the neighbor, and they got a $2,500 small claims court judgment against them, and it never got paid, it runs with the land. That's a legal term in real estate, that something runs with the land. Deed restrictions run with the land. Liens and judgments run with the land. So they are attached there forever until they're reconciled, with some exceptions. Some fall off after like 7 years. There are some statute limitations on some of those. I won't get into that. I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice or financial advice or real estate advice. I give life advice, but you get what you pay for.
Okay. And Nikki, hopefully that helped and we didn't just confuse you more. But if there was something specific that you were concerned about that you think might be on your title, or that you want to ask if it's a big deal, you can ask us that too, and we can address it. Sherilyn is saying, I'm in the same boat as Christian. Williamson County is still reviewing our minor plat for land subdivision. They've indicated staff review will be complete by September 3rd, at which point I assume it is to be scheduled to be reviewed, approved by the Commissioner's Court. Can't wait to get our Gonzales started.
Staff. This is proof that we... Be grateful, guys. You don't get all the government that you pay for. That's Will Rogers. I stole it, but be thankful you do not get all the government that you pay for. How we got to have staff review it when the county commissioner's court has to review it anyway? Like, give it to the men and women who've been elected by the people. Let them look at it. If it's in compliance, let's roll. How big a deal are you in Williamson County? I need staff looking at this. I can't do this.
I'm sorry.
Hang in there.
Yeah, you got this. We get Stephanie asking, is the Paladura the only plan where the dining room space sits in between the family room and kitchen island? Just starting the process in Burleson County. The Preston also does that. I know offhand.
Thunder Stealer.
I'm sorry. Did you want to say it?
No, I'm good. Oh, no, offhand. Now, that's not to say, Stephanie, that we couldn't do some modifications on other plans to make that happen. There are some that we could modify to make that happen with. But yeah, out of kind of from the design phase, right off the website, those are the two that are probably going to be in that space. It would take a bigger house because you're going to need something pretty wide, right, to make that happen. You got to have the kitchen, dining space, and family room. You want the family room to be 18 by 18 at least, typically in a size home like that, maybe 17 by 17 at the smallest. And then you need, 12 or 14 feet of dining space, and then the kitchen itself. So it's going to typically be a bigger home. Not to say that we couldn't accommodate another house, but that's typically what it's going to be.
Awesome. Teresa is asking, are you required to have foam insulation in Burnet County? And if so, can you still have a fireplace?
All right, Teresa, great question. We're actually doing foam statewide now. So yes, we'll be doing foam there. And yes, you can still have a fireplace. You can have any gas fireplace that you want. You can have any electric fireplace that you want. And then we do have a handful of fully self-contained with their own combustible airspace wood-burning fireplaces that are available. They're different Constitution brands from Heatolator, I think. Is it Heatolator that does it? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
They have a couple of sizes that you can put in. But yes, you can still have a fireplace. And I'm assuming you probably mean a wood-burning fireplace. But yes, you have a wood-burning fireplace still. Easy, way easier and less expensive with gas. And you could set up propane gas just for a fireplace if you wanted to. That's not that's not outside the norm or the realm of possibility.
Okay. And then she's also asking, what is the cost difference between going just electric or going propane?
Okay. I don't have the price book pulled up. I'm very sorry. It's a little over, I want to say it's $1,200 to $1,800 depending on the house to start. And that, I think that gets you your first 2 drops. So electric is going to be included in all of our homes. So no charge to go all electric. To go gas, I'd budget somewhere between, like I said, $1,500 to $2,000 to start, and then it's a certain amount of dollars per additional drop that you want. When I say a drop, I mean gas outlet. So, for example, let's say that you wanted gas at a fireplace. That's one, and you wanted gas. It's stubbing out for it, and that one, that's the ante. That's the initiation fee. So you get the gas stub itself that goes out of the house to the propane tank and one outlet, in this case, the fireplace. And then each additional one, if you wanted it at the cooktop, or you wanted one for an outdoor kitchen, or you wanted one for your water heaters or your furnaces, each of those would be additional. So hope that helps.
Okay. Christine is sharing something else when considering your well. You also need to think about protecting your well equipment from lightning damage too.
She must not have trees where she is. Also, I will say cows, livestock, like cover your stuff up because they like to rub on things and they're heavy and they don't mind literally throwing their weight around. And they can break PVC pretty easily. So protect the stuff, protect the things. Cows are curious. They're not very bright. They're like 1,600-pound goats. They're delicious, but they're not smart.
There you go. We got Teresa asking, what square footage is the Moore family home?
I have to go back. I have anger issues with cows because yesterday they destroyed one of the sprinklers I was using to water under one of my big trees, trying to keep it alive. And the cows destroyed the sprinkler. I don't know why.
Look, it has been a really long time since they've seen water from the sky.
I know.
And that was close enough. And it was weird.
Yeah,
we had to check it out.
I was upset.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. She heard all about it. The one that I could get to. I have no evidence it was her whatsoever, but it doesn't matter.
This vision of you lecturing a cow.
Oh, it got much worse than lecturing. Yeah. There were objects thrown. I didn't hit. I missed every time, but it was
Absolutely on purpose too. Right?
Rachel got to watch it all from the front porch. She was not impressed. It's my resume.
All right, we're gonna have a GoFundMe for Eric's sprinkler for the safety of the cows. All right, Teresa is asking, what square footage did the Moore family home end up at after all the floor plan changes? So like we talked about earlier, they actually brought the floor plan to us, so it was a custom plan for them, and the final square footage was 2,333 square feet. So just a little bit under 2,400 square feet, but yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful home. And then she's also asking, is it true that Tilson does not consider the driveways or landscaping a part of the home build, and we will need to find our own subs to complete the home?
50-50. So driveways, yeah, we absolutely can. It's not included in the pricing that you see on the website because we don't know how big of a driveway you need. But yes, we can absolutely get you pricing for a driveway, concrete or otherwise. And if your salesperson needs help with that, tell them to reach out to their manager, and we can get that done. Landscaping, we don't in a few select areas. So I know Windy before in Republic Grand Ranch, we do offer landscaping there. Texas Grand Ranch, some of the municipalities in which we build, they require it, so we do it there. But broadly speaking, if you're looking at the pricing that Dawn's prepared on our website, they're not going to include the landscaping or the driveway. And again, landscape is kind of one of those things that we find the customers want to be in the house to see how they want it laid out, where the downspouts are going to end up going, what kind of plants and shrubs you want. I'm going to tell you right now, based on the summer we've had, we're leaning towards xeriscape. And a lot of cities now are leaning towards that because they're putting everyone on water restrictions like immediately. So find what grows naturally in the woods, plant that.
RIP our landscaping in Waco.
It was pretty for a week.
It was a beautiful week. It was a beautiful week.
Lovely.
Christian is saying that your cow encounter was an utter travesty.
I actually said it was utterly ridiculous to my wife, but same. Thank you, Christian.
Tim is asking, is it preferred to use the design center closest to where we will build? So Tim, actually, it's up to you. It's preferred that you use the design center that's going to be most convenient and easiest for you, or where you just like the people the best, to be honest. You will be making multiple trips to the design center once you do sign your agreement with us. So we really recommend that you choose the one that you don't mind driving to. So if it happens to be closest to where you're building, great. If it's 4 hours from where you're building, also great. Just pick the one that you're going to want to go back to do your color selections, to do your plan review, to do any kind of other changes that we need to talk to you about in person. Just make sure that whichever office you're working with is the one that you're willing to do that with.
Yeah.
Glenn is asking, do today's Tilson subs need watering and drought conditions? Oh, slabs need watering and drought conditions.
The subs also need water, yes.
The subs also need to be watered.
I would say, Glenn, yes. Broadly speaking, it's not a bad idea. If you go more than a month to 6 weeks without any measurable rain, it's time to break out the soaker hoses. Good news. Mm-hmm. Dawn has good news for you. Dawn, what's the good news?
We actually have a blog post that Richard Webb, who is the one who's in charge of all of our model homes and keeping those looking nice, he helped us put together around this time last year when we were experiencing these conditions with very, very specific instructions of exactly how to place your soaker hosers, how far soaker hose is, how far they need to be from the foundation, because just in order to know, this SVP of construction very much does not want us to talk about watering the slabs. He doesn't want you to water the slab. He wants you to maintain consistent moisture in the soil around the slab.
That's right.
So don't be spraying water on the concrete. He wants it on the dirt around it. And really the key is consistent moisture. But there's a great blog post. Rachel, if you're watching, if you could drop that link in the comments for Glenn so that everybody can see it. But he's got really good instructions on exactly what you need to be doing
and
to
Glenn,
keep that soil.
Less is more to start out with. Okay. So if you haven't been doing anything, you're not in trouble. There's no hand slapping. There's no judgment here. But go walk around and look. Okay. Look where the dirt meets the foundation and see how much, if there's a gap there. Okay. There probably is. It may be 1/4 inch. It may be a half it, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Get the soaker hoses like Dawn. It's easy stuff to get. You can get it at your local big box store. You can make your own if you're bored and
like to poke holes on things.
On a summer project, yeah. But do a little bit at a time every day and kind of watch and see if that gap starts to close. It will, but don't go out there and run a hose for 12 hours. Don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want to go from one extreme to the other.
Right. So a little bit at a time. Just as it slowly went where it is now, it needs to slowly come back to where it is now. But obviously, like Don was saying, if this were a slab, it starts drying out around the perimeter, right? The moisture is going to stay underneath because it's not getting any sunlight there. So if you control the moisture content around here, this part kind of takes care of itself. That's really what we're after, and like Don said, just consistent moisture content.
All right. Nikki says we did answer her question about deeds and title.
She's still here, so she didn't leave. That's good.
Yes, that's very good. We got Misty saying, with the wells, find out if you're going to have the pressure tank in the garage or in the yard by the well. We will be placing our pressure tank in the garage.
Great point. Yep. You can either way you want to do it. Obviously, it's going to last a long time in a garage or a metal building, or build a little shed around it. But there are some that are made to just sit out there outside. Again, going back to Dawn's point about winterizing, something to consider.
Yep. Wendy has a question about Republic Grand Ranch and the landscaping being included. She's saying she wasn't told about that.
Right. Well, it's not included in the base price. So we have options. We have packages that we allow. We don't make you buy it from us, but it is available to buy from us. So in Republic.
Okay. Christian is saying, I guess he's talking to Tim. We live in DFW. Our home build is 45 minutes north of San Antonio, and our design specialist is near the Red River in Melissa. So yeah, you work with whoever you're most comfortable with. Christopher is asking, is it possible to roll a land loan into a single mortgage with the build?
Dawn, can that be done?
It's not only possible, it's actually mandatory. That's exactly what's going to happen. So with us, if you're using our EasyBuy program, you're going to continue to make your payments on your land loan throughout construction. And then at the end of construction, what's going to happen is your mortgage is going to pay off whatever balance is left on that land loan. So it will all roll into your final mortgage, so that you only have one person that you're paying. And that honestly is because the bank wants to be the only lien holder. They want to be in first position. And he who put the lien in first is in first position. So they want to clear the lien that you're for your land loan and make sure that it's in their name. So that's why that is, and how that works. Teresa's saying, I love the Moore family home. When we meet at the design center, can we use their home as an example? Absolutely. Just tell your consultant that that's the one that you are absolutely in love with, and they can pull up the actual plans and then make whatever changes you want and get you the cost of building. Tim is thanking Christian for the advice.
That's this community we have, man. We got community.
Yes, we'd love to help each other out. We got Christopher saying, great. Do all plans include a garage, or is that extra with some plans? Have noticed some plans do not show a garage. Not sure if it's simply missing or if a garage is needed to be added to the build.
Don, did you forget all the garages? What's the deal? What's going on your website?
So we do have a few homes where the garages are included in the base plan because of where the garage is. It's kind of essential to the look and feel of the plan. On the rest of them, badly about half the houses that we build, people don't want a garage because they either have a separate building or they want a detached garage. And so that's why we don't include them in most of our plans. But every single plan that we have has at least 2 or 3 garage options for it that are pre-drawn. So if you go on the website and you go into the interactive floor plans, you're going to see all of your different garage options there that you can add. And if you don't see it, that doesn't mean we can't do it. You just talk to your design consultant and talk about exactly where you want that garage placed, and we can figure it out for you. Stephanie is saying, sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Are we continuing to pay on our land loan until the build is complete and then roll it over?
Great question.
Yes, ma'am. That is exactly what you're doing. So while you're doing construction and all the process with us, you're going to continue to make your payments on your land loan, just as you normally would be doing. And then when you go to close and it's time to move into your home, when you do your closing with us, the mortgage company is going to roll the balance of that land loan into your final mortgage. But yes, until you close and you're ready to move in, you sit down at the table, we give you the final keys, all of that, keep making all the payments on your land loan.
Yep. Which means it will be the payoff will be less at the end, right?
Right.
Than it is. So we'll get you qualified for whatever the balance is at the time that you get your pre-approval or do the contract, but knowing that you're going to keep paying on it, for the duration of both the pre-construction portion with Tilson as well as construction, the balance will be less. So.
Let's see. Dion is asking, do you offer water softeners with the house?
We offer rough-ins for water softeners. So that's a great question. Our plumbers, pretty much all of our plumbers, offer some sort of water softener. You work directly with them. We don't want to get involved in the water softener game. Bought mine on Amazon, hooked it up myself. If you want to do that, go ahead. It's not for everybody.
Do not recommend. That is Eric's version of do not recommend.
If you talk to Richard Webb about it, he looked at mine and he's like, he wanted to be clear to let people know he was not involved in that. So shout out to Richard. Anyway, we do offer the rough ends for it. So that's really important. I'm glad you asked because, so let's back up real quick. What's a water softener for? You want to have it tested, have the water tested. So if you got a water well already, or even tap water that you have either from a co-op or a municipality, get that water and get it tested with someone. Doesn't have to be the person you buy the water softener from, but get it tested with somebody. Any like a Culligan or one of those folks will test the water for you, and then of course they're going to give you this recommendation that you need to have. And they're reputable. I'm not disputing their reputation. Okay, they know what they're doing. So based on that, it will tell you kind of basically how many gallons you need before the water softener has to regenerate. But basically, water softener is salt water that softens the water. Whether it's iron or metals or chlorine or sodium or whatever's in there, they kind of, like a sodium wouldn't be it because you're mixing it with. But you know what I'm saying? They softens the water so you don't get the hard water stains. Tastes a little better. Does filter it. So if you have a water softener loop, it makes life a whole lot easier. You can still put water softeners on homes that have not been roughed in for them. So it's not the end of the road if you have, but if you do have a water softener loop installed with us, a rough in for a water softener, there'll be a 110 outlet there ready to go because they do require power. And there'll also be, of course, like I said, the loop with valves on it. You can turn them off, turn them on. They and the water goes there first after it goes to all the hose bibs. The best part about roughing in a water softener up front during construction, like when we do it, you want your hose bibs, your outside water faucets, to be on the regular water. You do not want them to be on the softened water because it's salt water. And if you water your plants with it, they are not going to appreciate it. So good on you for doing a water softener rough in. And that way, each of the water spigots, hose bibs, or we call them, are gonna be on a home run. In other words, they all run directly from where water comes into the house directly to that point. As opposed to if we don't do a water softener, typically, not always, but typically those hose bibs are put in series. So as we're running the cold water around to bath 2, if there's a hose bib on the way, they'll tap into it and that'll be the hose bib there. And there's also a drain provided because the water softener does go into regeneration, and it dumps water out, and it cannot go into your septic system or sewer system. Typically, there are some exceptions. So it'll be a separate stub out that you need to put like a rock bed or something so that once every 3, 4, 10 days, depending on how frequently it needs to do it, that used water gets dumped out somewhere else. So hope that.
Okay. All right. Elizabeth is asking, can we do a carport instead of having a garage?
Of course.
All right. And then Teresa is asking, can the Moore's home plan be redesigned to have cathedral ceilings in the living room? So I'm actually going to bring their house up since we've talked about it so much, so everybody else who hasn't seen it knows what we're talking about. I believe so, because this is the living room area. It may change the roof line a little bit, but it looks like we've got enough space in that attic. But correct me if I'm wrong, Eric.
No, I think you're good there. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. So yeah, we think so. But yeah,
Drafting can do it.
Gorgeous house.
Drafting can do it.
Yeah, drafting will figure it out. They can do anything. They're going to kill me if they're watching. All right. Sanchez is asking, is it absolutely necessary that the property owner open title as opposed to the mortgage company? Two title companies have stated make sure mortgage won't open title because the title companies do not want to go and start something that possibly will be done anyway by the mortgage company. I've understood it's strictly the responsibility of the landowner to open title.
No. So, and I'm echoing now all of a sudden. I don't know why, but the we are going to open title with a title company. So if you're doing Tilson's EasyBuy program, you don't need to worry about opening title with anybody. You don't have to worry about the mortgage company opening it. We're going to open it. Because in essence, we are the lender for construction because we don't require a construction loan. We're not getting funded till the house is done. We're the ones that want to know up front if the house, it's never even going to get to a mortgage if we find that, hey, this could not close on a permanent loan until these, 1 to 3 to 6 items are rectified. All that said, I love how you put it here because I believe you're 100% correct in what they said. The title company doesn't want to go and start something that possibly will be done. So title companies don't make their money when they open title. Title companies make their money when they close real estate transactions. And they make good money closing real estate transactions. That's their job. I don't have a problem with that. I'm glad they make money.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes you got to break eggs to make an omelet. Okay. And the title companies that we work with, when we go and open title, obviously we are operating in good faith that if this comes to fruition, we're going to close.
We're going to use them to close. Yeah.
To close this transaction. Right. But we need their help opening the title. So the property owner, in no circumstances you need to worry about opening title unless you are the one buying property right now, in which case, if you're getting a loan for it, the mortgage company is probably going to open title. So that might be the exception of what you're talking about. But even if you're buying land cash or you're getting gifted land from Mima and Papa, take the legal description, go to a title company and open title and say, hey, look, I plan on closing on this here with you guys. I just want to open title and see if there's any issues. It's a credit check for the land, basically, is what opening title or a title commitment is. Opening title or getting a title commitment, which is one and the same, that is not title insurance. What it is the title company telling you, if you will satisfy these things, we will insure the title on this. We cannot insure the title if items C, D, and F are not rectified. If those items remain open, we cannot insure the title on this piece of property. So that's what it's telling you. And so, put yourself in the shoes of a mortgage company, right? They're operating, obviously, what they really want is your principal and your interest for the next 30 years. That's what they want. Believe it or not, they don't want your house on your land. They don't want to repo it. They don't want to foreclose on it. They don't want anything to do with that.
Not even a little bit.
Nope. They don't want to do that. The foreclosure process in Texas is expensive and it is difficult. Texas is very, very dogmatic about private property rights for good reason. Now,
that's why they do all of this upfront stuff to make sure you qualify for that. There's very little possibility that they're ever going to own it.
Precisely.
That's why it's so hard to borrow money.
The title search, including opening title, to make sure that, hey, when time comes, can anybody come in here 3 years from now and be like, I have an undivided 1/8 interest in that property, and now that you have bought the property and improved that property, I want my 1/8 interest. Pay me now.
Yeah.
So that's what title insurance is for, just like car insurance, health insurance, anything else. Homeowners insurance. It's title insurance to come in and be like, hey, they said they have an undivided 1/8 claim. You know what? We've done our homework. Turns out they do. No problem. We're going to scratch you a check for the amount of the house and the land. And there's your policy. That is an insurance policy. So anyway, hopefully that helped. That was a long answer.
Yep. All right. We got Isaiah asking, so is there a lien on the land with EasyBuy while I am still paying my own land loan?
Okay. So we will put, yes. So and you will authorize it. We don't just put it on there. In Texas, to do a builder's and mechanics lien contract, you actually have to sign the lien. It's notarized. Your signature is notarized in our office. So you understand what you're signing. And what we're doing actually is in that situation, we're taking second lien position. So let's say that you owe, I don't know, $50,000 on the property to Capital Farm Credit. Let's say you owe $50,000 to Capital Farm Credit for the balance of the property.
It's not a sponsor. We just
not at all.
To have
they're
it.
not, but they're a good outfit. They're a good outfit. And
this is our only sponsor.
They gave me a free, Arctic. As has Loan People. I have a Yeti, not Arctic, not the Me Too, Yeti from Loan People. So just Cat Farm, step your game up. So you owe $50,000 to Capital Farm Credit. They have a lien, in place. They are in first lien position. Let's say the way Tilson's going to do it, and we're the only ones that will do this way that I know of. Is let's say the house is $440,000. You will sign a mechanic's lien contract and a promissory note for $440,000, and we will file that lien. So in other words, you're promising to pay upon completion of the home, right? When we're done and you're happy, done your walkthrough and all that kind of good stuff, we're going to get paid $440,000 for the contract price of the home, but your loan amount is $490,000. That's the $440,000 to pay us, and the $50,000 to pay, in this case, Cap Farm or whoever your lien holder on the land is. So you will have a $490,000 loan, of which we get $440,000, the land lien holder gets $50,000, and it's this separate transactions. And so hopefully that clears up how it goes. But yeah, so we'll have and then what happens when we get funded is we assign our lien to whoever funds us. So let's say you get a loan with AMCAP Mortgage or Loan People or whoever it is, we assign our promissory note and our lien to that lender.
Okay, makes sense. And then Sam is asking, do you have a preferred lender for final closing?
Yes. Loan People and AMCAP Mortgage. Well, we get that later. I don't want to open that can of worms at 5 after.
All right. So on the title policy, understood. So same as owner's title policy. Yes, it's how 2 title companies, a mortgage officer, and you have confirmed. Awesome. I have a 2 lots to replot into 1. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank goodness I just said the same thing they did. Otherwise, I feel like a big old idiot. So and I don't need any help with that.
And that is the last question that I see.
All right. Well, folks, thank you for hanging in there with us. We're about 9-10 minutes over. This was excellent. We are so grateful that you come in here and watch. It doesn't have to end here, right, Dawn? Where can they go to hear more about this stuff? It doesn't end here.
Well, now that you found us, we'll find you. But you can see we've got a website with all kinds of information. So tilsonhomes.com. You can find us right here on Facebook and YouTube. All of the past sessions of these that we have done are available for you to watch, as well as a whole lot of other videos that we have. We have an Instagram account, so you can follow us there. You can also give us a call at any point. We have all of our new home specialists who are standing by to answer your questions. So give them a call, and you can visit any of our 12 locations throughout the state and tour our model homes. So
that's why we built them, so you would go see them.
Yes.
Because we heard if you build them, they will come. I heard that somewhere.
That was in a movie that we both saw. So
yeah, exactly. It wasn't Step Brothers. Kevin Costner. All you, Christian. I will do what I can on the Bandera County thing, but I don't want to take steps backwards. So I'm going to choose my words carefully. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. We hope it's beneficial for you, and obviously, we really soon hope to make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, everybody.